Hey guys, it's been a little bit since we've done an update video about Gary's health. And for those of you who have been with the channel now for a little while, you're aware of Gary's illness. But for those of you who are newer, I kind of wanted to do an update, but I'll fill you in, give a little bit of a Reader's Digest version of what's wrong with Gary. So Gary has an autoimmune disease called primary biliary cholangitis, and it attacks your liver. His liver is functioning on about 10 to 20%. And so anyhow, there's a lot of maintenance that's involved in that. But recently we've had a lot of problems that they've not been able to explain. So there's been a lot of doctor's appointments. So we haven't spent as much time on the channel as we would like to. Obviously, his health comes first, and a lot of doctor's appointments takes a lot of time. But they've done multiple tests. He started about a year ago having a very strange feeling that he can't really explain. In October, we know for sure he passed out and broke his foot in the fall, and that's when they actually started doing tests all the time. They've done a heart test after heart test. They've done a stress test. They did a 48-hour Holter Monitor that checks the heart for irregularities. It did not come up with anything. The real problem is it's intermittent. We did find out in the course of all of the different tests that he's become hypoglycemic. I don't know if that's because of all of the medications that he takes. I'm guessing that's probably got a lot to do with it. It washes a lot out of his system. So in order to take care of that problem, he drinks orange juice and in the morning and then eats an apple in the afternoon, and that keeps his blood sugar up. But we can't seem to get rid of this strange feeling that's very intermittent. So now Gary is wearing a 30-day heart monitor. They are trying to see if the 30-day monitor will pick up anything. We actually sometimes will go for weeks without him having a single problem at all. But he feels it coming on. It's not like it sneaks up on him. The first time or two, it snuck up on him and he wasn't aware of the signs. But now, of course, he knows when it's going to happen. So he goes and sits down just so that way he knows that he's not going to have a problem possibly falling or anything like that. You haven't passed out again. We thought we had it under control, actually, with the hypoglycemic thing. We thought that everything was taken care of, but the problem has resurfaced. So they checked his carotid arteries. They did ultrasound on both of his carotid arteries to check for blockages because they thought, well, maybe his blood pressure was dropping because of blockages. And they found that both of his carotid arteries are blocked 50 to 69%. And what that means for the normal person is they would give them a baby aspirin, and that helps get rid of this without surgery. And it thins the blood a little bit so that it flows easier. But Gary has low platelet counts, so he is high risk for baby aspirin because of possible bleeding issues. So he can't have the baby aspirin, and they cannot surgically remove the blockages because of bleeding risk. They don't want to take that risk. So they think that it's okay. They said 70% is where they worry, and he's 50 to 69% is what they've diagnosed it at. So they're going to watch that, and in 6 months they're going to go ahead and do another carotid ultrasound to see if it's changed at all. They know that at least part of the blockage is older, probably been there for a lot of years. As we get older, that happens. But they don't know how much of it's possibly new, so they want to monitor it. But then also, in the process of doing all of this, we went to the cardiophysiologist.
That sounds right. They have so many different names.
I don't know. The way that the nurse described it to me is there's two different kinds of cardiologists. The cardiologist that checks to see if blood is flowing from A to B is the plumber. And the physiologist, I think that's correct, They are the ones that check and make sure that the heart is beating properly. They are the electrician. So we went to the electrician the other day, and he set him up with a 30-day heart monitor. So we have to change it out every single week. He has to carry with him what looks like a regular cell phone, but he has to have it on him 24 hours a day. It's never to be more than about 15 feet from his body at all times, because it records the data that's on the monitor that's on his sternum. And then every week we have to change it out back and forth for 4 weeks. Then the complicated part of this heart monitor is we already have a Universal Studios vacation booked. So I was real concerned and told the doctor, I said, well, we are leaving in a few days for Universal Studios again, and Gary's a thrill junkie, and he likes all of the roller coasters. You know, he wants to get down there. He wants to do Velocicoaster, Hulk, Rip Ride Rocket, whatever. He wants to be able to do that. So I was concerned about giving false readings to the monitor because of excitement, additional excitement.
I don't scream, by the way, so I'm just laughing the whole way through those things. So.
Well, it's obviously going to alter the heartbeat a little bit,
Sure
because you're going to get excited.
Yeah.
So I was concerned about that, but the heart doctor, he indicated to me the monitor it knows the difference between excitement or problem, and they are aware of the dates that we're going to be gone. So if something comes up during that period of time, they're going to be aware that it's very possible to just be a roller coaster or something like that. But they're trying to catch the problem in the process. He will be absolutely fine, and then all of a sudden then he says, I don't feel right, something's wrong, and he can't really describe the feeling other than maybe a little bit on the dizzy side.
Yeah. I call it funky. So, I mean, it just feels weird.
You know,
It's
something's not right.
Something's not right.
But his blood pressure drops. So they're trying to determine with the heart monitor, is the problem something that's going to require a pacemaker, a defibrillator, or blood pressure medicine to increase his blood pressure. The heart doctor says his suspicion, based on everything that we've told him, is that his blood pressure just randomly drops, and he thinks that it's probably going to require a blood pressure medicine to increase his blood pressure, which I never even knew there was such a thing. I've heard of high blood pressure and you get medicine to decrease it, but never knew that there was such a thing to increase blood pressure. But we knew the blood pressure was dropping. And so anyhow, he's going to have the 30-day monitor on. And if there's nothing recorded in that 30-day period of time, then there's a strong possibility they will put a heart monitor underneath the skin, and it can be there up to 3 years. And that way then they can actually catch the problems. The 48-hour monitor, when he was wearing that, he had 3 episodes. But we documented the times where we were and everything, but nothing really turned up. They said that the monitor didn't detect a problem, but there was definitely a problem. I'm hopeful that this time it's going to show something. We've been chasing this problem for a year now. It'd be real nice for him to not have to worry about it.
Right.
And of course we worry about it too, because we don't want him to have any sort of problem. He always knows it's coming. He can feel it in advance, and he's got plenty of time to go sit down. He says he just starts feeling strange.
And getting some water.
Water always helps. It doesn't necessarily bring him completely out of it, though. So that's the real concern. But the doctor thinks that it's probably just the case of he needs blood pressure medicine to increase his blood pressure. So hopefully that's all that is. We've had a lot of doctor's appointments. Lots of blood work, lots of doctors, different towns, lots of traveling back and forth, lots of days. So we haven't really spent the normal amount of time on the channel that we typically would.
Yeah.
we're not posting near as often right now, just because, quite honestly, there just hasn't been time with all of the traveling back and forth and everything that's kind of going on. So it might be a little bit interesting at Universal Studios to be walking around with a little tablet of paper and a pencil so that I can document, this episode. But you've never had an episode when we've been at the parks.
No.
It's never happened at the
I
parks.
think I should just stay there at the parks.
Hey. I like it. He's the idea guy.
Yeah, he sure is.
So I at least wanted to get on here, kind of explain what's going on recently with Gary and give everybody a little bit of an update. And for those of you who are newer to the channel, I will go ahead and put a link in the description of, I've got 2 videos. One kind of shows a little bit of how the channel started, because my channel started because of Gary's illness. I wanted to create videos for his family just in case he didn't make it, because we didn't know in the beginning. And so far we're 3.5 years into the diagnosis, and you're doing pretty good other than this problem that's going on right now. But other than that, he's doing fairly decent. If you didn't know he had a problem, you wouldn't know he had a problem.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. At least give you guys a little bit of an idea of what's going on. And for our friends that follow that have similar illnesses, a lot of times we get questions from those friends because they want to know kind of what to expect for themselves and how Gary's dealing with some of his problems, because they'll probably have very similar problems. I don't know.
You never know.
I would guess that that would be a possibility, that there would be similar issues if they've got a similar illness. So everything's been kind of new for about the last year. A lot of the new symptoms have popped up. A little bit on the frustrating side, just because there's been so many tests and nothing has turned up yet.
Nope.
To let us know what's going on. We thought that the hypoglycemic diagnosis was going to finally be the answer to our prayers, that that was what was really going on, and something as simple as fresh fruit and juice and stuff was going to resolve all of the problems. But apparently there's something more than just that. They are convinced that that's still an issue, and probably just because of washing things out of his system.
Yeah.
But anyhow, might be a little bit interesting at the parks on this trip. The good thing is the heart doctor was not concerned about that.
Didn't seem to be.
No, he said, I would rather put the monitor on him now and know that we've got really good time to check and see. He goes, I'd hate to not put the monitor on and then he's having problems and we're missing it. So he said, I'd rather put it on now, and that way we can kind of follow what's going on. It's been a trip.
It has been a lot of trips. But we really appreciate the support, that we're getting from our friends and people that don't know us. We got a little bit of a following on there. Very encouraging.
Yeah.
It really makes me feel people care.
Oh, they do. Sure. Hopefully that explains a little bit about what's going on and why we've not been around much lately. If you're new to this channel, please hit that like and subscribe and ring bell notification so you don't miss out on the latest and greatest. Also, please don't forget to check out some of our other great videos we have on the parks, the rides, resorts, resort rooms, Skyliner rides, day trips, car shows, outdoor pizza oven videos, Disney World, Universal Studios, and Islands of Adventure. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye-bye.